Now at 5 a.m. on WKYT this morning, the budget battle continues in Frankfort this morning with no agreement in place. We'll tell you who Governor Bevin says is to blame for it all.
Lawmakers gathering at the U.S. Capitol took time to recognize a Lexington native and her husband killed in Brussels. Their remarks on Stephanie and Justin Schultz just ahead.
And University of Kentucky officials are calling for a change to a campus roadway. What would that mean for traffic?
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good Wednesday morning to you. I'm Michelle Chamberlain.
And I'm Bill Bryant. It's good to have you with us on WKYT. And so Rose Street is back in the news. Years ago, they talked about wanting to close Rose Street, and Mayor Scotty Basler back in those days said, no way. So now it's come up again.
You can see why.
Yeah, we'll
we
see.
were there just this week, and it's constantly pedestrians,
Yeah,
you know, obviously
right,
going
sure.
to college. So
It was always seen as a cut-through campus as well.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll see. Weather, it's looking good. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, we're looking real good. Extended day forecast. This morning's still a little bit chilly, but remember, this is your last chance at some frost. Across the 7-day forecast, live sky camera. Beautiful look this morning, but we have the clear skies. That's leading in very chilly conditions. 35 Lexington, 34, a pair of those. Danville crossing over Lancaster and off toward Richmond. 32 now at Mount Sterling, and I do expect a few of us to actually hit that 32-degree reading besides Mount Sterling. But once we hit the afternoon, it's going to feel much better. About a 30-degree swing today. So we'll be at 62 degrees. A nicer feel today, but it gets even better as the days move along, and that is our focus of the forecast, is that fantastic feel that we're bringing back. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you how high our temperatures go, maybe even an 80-degree reading. I'll have that coming up.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit, Micah. Thank you.
Kentucky lawmakers will resume budget talks this morning after failing to reach an agreement yet again.
This Friday will be the last day of the legislative session, and even if lawmakers have not reached an agreement by then, Governor Matt Bevin is now vowing not to call a special session. WKYT's Mark Barber joins us live from Frankfort with more on what this means for the state going forward. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Lawmakers will take another swing at striking a budget deal later this morning. House Speaker Greg Stumbo says it has been very difficult for Democrats to approve a budget because he said it has been the worst budget proposal he has seen from a governor in his 35 years in the Capitol. Governor Matt Bevin is striking back. He is saying that if lawmakers do not pass a budget by the end of the legislative session on Friday, the blame will rest squarely on Stumbo's shoulders. While the House and the Senate have finally agreed on Bevin's cuts to higher education, the sticking point is now the amount of money that the state should put toward its pension shortfall. So how much time do lawmakers really have to pass a budget this week? Well, it's estimated it takes about 30 hours to print the document after it is approved. If lawmakers are going to have adequate time to read over a budget on Friday, they would likely have to strike a deal at the very latest tomorrow afternoon. If the week ends and there is still no budget, Bevin says he will not call a special session. The governor says House Democrats would be responsible for the partial government shutdown that would happen on July 1st. So what could that look like? We're breaking down the list of critical agencies and services that could be affected by that partial government shutdown coming up on WKYT News at 5:30. Live in Frankfort, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Definitely we will be following this. Thanks, Mark. He described them as the perfect couple. Kentucky Congressman Andy Barr led the U.S. House in a moment of silence last night to honor Stephanie and Justin Schultz. Two other congressmen from Tennessee also took several minutes to remember the couple. Stephanie grew up here in Lexington, and her husband, Justin, grew up in Gatlinburg. They died during the Belgium explosions just 3 weeks ago, and they were tragically killed while dropping Stephanie's mother off at the airport when the bombs exploded. Congressman Barr spoke directly to Stephanie and Justin's family last night, assuring them that America will never forget them.
We will never forget the anguish felt by Stephanie and Justin's families as they searched for their children in the aftermath of the attack. We will never forget their grief when they learned what happened.
Stephanie Schultz graduated from Transylvania University in 2008. The president released a message to the school community saying in part, quote, terrorists killed Stephanie for a politics in which she played no part in, and she is a victim of a war in which she was no combatant. The school plans to hold a memorial for the Schultz on Friday at 4 o'clock.
Time this morning coming up on 5:05 on WKYT, and thousands of convicted nonviolent felons throughout Kentucky are getting a second chance. Governor Bevin has signed House Bill 40, which allows people convicted of nonviolent felonies to ask a judge to vacate their judgments. Those felons have to pay $500 and wait 5 years after completing their sentences. At least 62,000 convicted felons in Kentucky will be eligible to take advantage of the law. Governor Bevin said during the signing that it is critical that there is an opportunity for redemption and second chances because America is a land that was founded on these principles. A third person is in custody this morning in connection with Lexington's latest homicide case. Lexington police say 19-year-old Alex Farrell was arrested last night. They say he, along with Jaden Whalen and Nicholas Karachi, all face robbery charges. All three are freshmen at UK.
Investigators say the three men and James Gordon planned to rob a man during a drug deal early Saturday morning on Woodland Avenue near UK's campus. When one of them pulled a weapon, the man they were meeting shot Koriachi and Gordon. Gordon later died at UK Hospital. Investigators say the shooter, who is claiming self-defense, is cooperating and has not been charged. A man accused in a deadly shooting in Lexington will return to court later this morning. Devontae Hobbs was arrested 3 weeks ago in Detroit, but wasn't extradited to Lexington until last week. Police say Hobbs shot Timothy Brown multiple times in the McDonald's parking lot on Russell Cave Road during a drug deal back in January. Hobbs faces murder and robbery charges. He will appear for his preliminary hearing later this morning.
Well, it is a busy street that runs through the heart of campus, but the University of Kentucky is now proposing making the temporary closure of Rose Street permanent.
The stretch of roads between Columbia Avenue and Hughlett Drive has been closed for the last year as part of the construction of the new academic science building. But university officials believe a permanent closure will make the area safer. WKYT's Caitlin Center joins us from the live desk with the details. Good morning, Caitlin.
Good morning, Michelle. We know new information this morning about potential permanent road closures on UK's campus. Tuesday, UK leaders went in front of the Urban County Council. According to our news partners at the Herald Leader, not only do those officials want Rose Street permanently closed between Columbia and Hughlett, they want others closed too. The stretch of Rose between Columbia and Hughlett has been closed for the last year. It's been closed since July of 2014 as part of the construction on the new academic science building. UK officials want the section closed permanently, saying it will help keep people walking safe and reduce the number of accidents involving pedestrians. At the meeting, officials said the stretch of roadway gets a high volume of pedestrian and bike traffic and actually hinders vehicular traffic. The closure allows traffic on Rose Street from Columbia Avenue to access parking on Funkhauser. Now officials want the city to consider Hilltop and Woodland Streets as well. The university wants Rose closed permanently in time for the opening of the new science building this fall, but the city wants to consider the closure of all three streets at the same time. At the live desk, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
Caitlin, thank you very much. Repair work for hundreds of Mercer County residents who are without gas service will resume this morning. Atmos Energy says they are trying to restore service to 1,500 people in the Harrodsburg area. Most of the people affected live in the area south and west of the railroad there. Company officials say the situation does not pose any safety risk, but to fix the issue, crews will need to enter customers' homes and relight and cycle through all natural gas appliances. Officials say crews worked until 11 last night, and they plan to resume the repair work starting at 6:30 this morning. Well, a popular fast food restaurant is coming back to Central Kentucky. Bojangles Chicken says they will open a restaurant on Kroger Way off of Lexington Road in Versailles this summer. Construction is already underway on that new location. The restaurant is expected to bring more than 30 full and part-time jobs to the area. It will be the fourth Bojangles restaurant to open in Kentucky. The other locations are in Corbin, London, and in Franklin.
And you said there used to be a lot of
There were others, back in a different era. There were Bojangles around.
Now they're coming back.
That's right. 5:09 on WKYT this morning, and we are just getting started.
Travelers at Houston's airport witnessed an unusual sight on the tarmac yesterday. A look at the tug of war for a good cause. That's coming up next.
Those chilly temperatures outside this morning, this is going to be the last time we talk about cold air. Show you some mild and sunny conditions coming up.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Live sky camera shot of looking downtown and also I-75 Winchester Road, the interchange there, and things look just fine. Traffic's flowing very nicely, even though it is 5:12, and traffic will pick up here in the next hour or two. Here's the look outside with temperatures. It's a pretty chilly start. Kind of depends on where you are. We're at 41 now in Somerset. We're 40 degrees in London, but other than that, I mean, the rest of us are in the 30s, well, except for Moorhead there in Rowan County at 41 degrees. 39 Jackson, 35 Lexington, going to Lawrenceburg, work your way into Georgetown, Peaks Mill, Sadieville, Frankfort, Owenton, all of us sitting there just below 40 degrees. And most of us will deal with at least some frost. We do have a frost advisory in effect until 9 a.m., but some of us may even reach that 32-degree reading. So we could have some freezing spots early this morning. Whether it's 32, 36, trust me, you'll need a light coat before you take off. By the afternoon, throw it in your back seat, we'll be at 62 degrees. Really a much better feel. You got to remember, yesterday we finished off in the mid to upper 50s, depending on where you were. And tomorrow, or today, we're going to talk low to mid 60s. Tomorrow, we're talking upper 60s, lower 70s. It's slowly but surely increasing. And each and every day will feel much better. Off into the night and into tomorrow morning. No frost threat, but we're still upper 30s to lower 40s. Let's break down the headlines for you. Frost advisory once again until 9 a.m. And that goes for every single person if you're watching this morning. And you see me on the screen, you have a frost advisory. There is one slight chance of rain in the forecast, and that is actually tomorrow. And I'm talking about a slight chance. I just can't rule it out. That's what I want to tell you guys about it. It's only 10-20%, mainly for south and southwest. That's the best bet of seeing a sprinkle or a light shower. But other than that, I mean, it's really dry as we take it off into next week. And not only that, but the 70s are back in the forecast. Here's one thing I cannot rule out. I can't rule out an 80-degree reading there toward the weekend and off into next week. I mean, you got some big-time air sliding on in, and it'll actually feel like spring. If you think about it, dating back to last month, we hit 70s multiple. I mean, you're talking about 15 to 20 times. I'll have to look that number up next time. But you're talking about in almost 2 weeks here of the month of April, we've only hit 65-plus degrees twice so far this month, only 2 times. And you know what? We won't hit it today, but tomorrow we absolutely will. Check out your 7-day forecast, and here's the breakdown of it. 62 today, a nicer feel, but it's still not as nice as we really wanted. Upper 60s, lower 70s as we head towards your Thursday, off towards your weekend. Keeneland gets back in full swing today. Don't forget about that. Should be pretty good weather, especially deep into the afternoon. And then the weekend will be absolutely slammed. A lot of events going on. We talked about this past couple of days where it's just big events going on. You got Keeneland, you got the blue-white game, you got a lot of things opening at parks and whatnot. So it's perfect weather for it. Talking mid to upper 70s, maybe even an 80-degree reading. That's pretty cool to actually say, finally, since we've been going through some pretty nasty cold.
Good weather. We could go to Keeneland every day this week.
Every single day. And then hit up the football game this week.
Yeah.
I like it.
There you go. Make big plans. 5:16 on WKYT.
Here's something you may have never seen before.
It's an old-fashioned tug-of-war. On one side, employees for United Airlines. On the other, a 737 passenger plane. The test of strength took place yesterday at Houston's Bush Intercontinental Airport. Seems to be moving along there. The unusual event was held to raise money for the March of Dimes Foundation, a nonprofit organization that works to improve the health of pregnant women and their babies. And as you can see, the employees were successful in pulling the plane along there. There you go.
Strong employees.
There you go. Good deal. All right, good to have you with us on WKYT. A lot more news coming up on your Wednesday.
When we return, we'll have a look at your money.
Help is on the way for dying bees, and Americans are trading in their car keys for bike locks. I'm Brian Webb in New York. Those stories and more coming up in your Money Watch report.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning. It's almost 5:20 here on your Wednesday, and the global economy is apparently losing some steam. One garden care company is vowing to help the declining bee population.
And more Americans are trading in their car keys for bike locks. Brian Webb has the latest on your money.
The global economy is losing steam and may stall, according to the International Monetary Fund. For the second time this year, the IMF cut its outlook for 2016, citing China's ongoing slowdown. The lender now forecasts this year's global growth at 3.2%, down from 3.4% predicted in January. Fueled by energy gains, the markets rebounded Tuesday. The Dow gained 164 points. The Nasdaq closed up 38. Garden care company Ortho will stop using chemicals believed to harm bees. The company will phase out so-called neonics by 2021 in 8 products used to control garden pests and diseases. The chemicals attack the central nervous system of insects and some experts believe are partly to blame for the declining bee population. And more Americans are trading in their car keys for bike locks. A new report from the Department of Transportation shows there are now 46 bike share systems operating in the U.S., with more than 2,600 bike sharing stations. And since 2010, bike share sites have popped up in over 30 U.S. cities, and riders have taken over 36 million bike share trips. And that's your Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. In New York, I'm Brian Webb.
All right.
It's always a good idea to bike.
Bike share, that's right. Yeah. This time of
Good
morning
exercise.
might be a little early for that, but you know, we have one of our producers who does that.
I was so impressed when I found that out.
Cool,
He rides his bike in at what, 1 in the morning?
Yeah, something like that. 5:21 is the time on WKYT right now. We're back with more news in a moment.
Sports is next.
Good morning, everybody. It's my birthday, so we're going to do what I want to do for sports. It is nothing but baseball. Cats and Cards preview as they play tonight at the Cliff, and the Legends, an improbable comeback yesterday. Got the highlights for you next in sports.
Happy birthday!
Looking across the region in the 30s early this morning. A couple of 40s sprinkled in here and there, but for the most part, heads up for some frost. As you're taking off, might have to scrape it off your windshield before it's all said and done, especially in the next couple of hours. That's when those temperatures get cold enough. Pretty chilly start by the afternoon at 62. Much nicer feel today, and it gets even better as we slide towards your weekend with a lot of sunshine in store. As I look at your forecast, let's check out sports, see what's going on.
Good morning, everybody. It's the Cats and the Cards tonight. They go at it on the diamond at Cliff Hagan Stadium. On the hill for Kentucky will be left-hander Zach Logue, a sophomore from Mason, Ohio. Logue has only thrown 15 2/3 innings this season, but he has done well in his 2 starts.
It's time for him to get a shot. He's going to end up being really good here. I see him going as far as he can go tomorrow, and then getting into the bullpen and throwing as many guys as I can. I want to use it as one of those days, and it's kind of an easy decision for me.
If you cannot make it out to the ballpark tonight, you can see it on the SEC Network Plus. Our own Dick Gabriel and the former Cincinnati Red Doug Flynn, they have the call. SEC Network Plus first pitch is at 6:30. The Lexington Legends had their game suspended a couple of nights ago, and they were trailing Augusta 7-0. Well, game 2 resumed yesterday, and we pick it up in the 6th inning. Score 8-2. Brandon Doolin goes opposite field, hits his first homer of the year. It's 8-3. Here come the Legends later in the 6th. 2 on for Lafayette High School product. Anderson Miller, the soft liner to right. That will plate 2 more Legends. Hey, it's 8-7. We got a game. We go to the 7th. Runners on the corner. Samir Duenas. Looper to center. Ashford Fulmer cannot make the diving catch. Jackson Flores and DJ Burt scamper around. The Legends lead 9-8. Then Boyle County's own Jacob Bodner comes in to nail it down in the 8th and the 9th innings, and the Legends rally for an improbable 9-8 win. And then Chase Vallow hits a homer in game 2, and the Legends sweep the Jackets yesterday. That's a look at sports. Have a great day.